When the kids were much younger, I would take just my daughters out for some other bonding time. I have adored doing that for a long time, and my daughters loved it. We do it every couple of months, just a nice time to catch up. The issue came when my daughter-in-law found out about these outings. About 2 years ago, she learned about them and made a huge deal about not being invited. It got to the point that my son would have no contact if I didn't invite her to daughter dates. I caved, and my relationship with my daughters took a hit. Over time, they didn't want to hang out with daughter-in-law, saying they just wanted to catch up with me and not pretend that she was their actual sister. I also agree I don't see her as a daughter. I didn't raise her, and I don't have that bond with her at all. This brings me to the present. I learned that she's going on a girls' trip with her mom and sisters. I wasn't invited. This is where I may be the idiot. I called her asking for an invite, saying that I'm her mom and she's excluding me from the family. She told me no, and it started an argument. My son got in on it, and I used the same text he sent me about not being welcoming to family. In the end, I told them either I was invited since fair is fair, or she needed to not invite herself along to my daughter's outings. She called me a petty witch, but agreed not to be invited anymore. My daughters think it's hilarious, but my son and daughter-in-law are angry. Am I the idiot for demanding an invite to my daughter-in-law's trip and telling her fair is fair? Not the idiot. You're a petty queen, and I love it. Brilliant. It's hilarious. You made your point, and you have your daughter's time back. I don't understand people who want to insert themselves where they don't belong and then wonder why people feel a certain way about them. You nailed it. I'm annoyed with the son. Backing up your wife is one thing, but there's a clear double standard here. Either his wife sees his mom as family or she doesn't. He should have stayed out of it or pointed out the disparity to his wife, but butting in again to side with his hypocritical wife is too much. OP should let them go no contact and enjoy each other's miserable company. Ugh. It's even stupider than that. They can be a family without being mother and child. The daughter-in-law's dad isn't going on a trip, and he's family. When this nonsense first started, I probably would have pointed out to my son that my daughter-in-law only belongs at these get-togethers if she's my daughter, and if she is, he's sleeping with his sister. My God, am I relieved not to be a part of this family. I think OP is a champ. It was probably over the top, but obviously, the daughter-in-law and son are incredibly childish, so match that energy. However, the real problem is OP's son threatening to go no contact every time his mother refuses to cater to his wife's whim. OP should call his bluff and see how long he lasts, cut off from the family with his beloved. I, 45 female, recently got into a fight with my son, 22, about the fact that my husband and I allowed him to take out student loans to pay for his college, when we are in fact very wealthy. To give some context, when our son was born, my husband and I agreed we wouldn't spoil him and keep our considerable wealth a secret. My husband is a lawyer and I'm a dentist. Despite our big house, we often told him we couldn't afford many of the things he asked for due to our mortgage or other loans we had to pay off. We didn't buy the used car he begged for on his 16th birthday because he asked us to pay for more than half of it. He had a job but always spent his money straight away. We wanted to teach him the value of saving. Over time, my husband started to feel guilty, and whenever I wasn't around, he would buy our son the things he wanted without informing me. When our son graduated high school, he approached us and asked us if we could assist him with college tuition. I told him we couldn't help him due to our mortgage, even though we never had one. For 4 years, my son had to work through college, often sacrificing his social life. One evening, after graduating college, he came to surprise us for dinner one night when one of our good friends was eating with us, and his father asked him about college and if he had enjoyed his time there. He told him no, he never had the time due to work and studying, but didn't hold it against us due to our financial situation. The friend says, "Oh, I didn't know you were having financial trouble. What about that vacation spot you were going to buy?" Our son then looked up at us with a confused face and said, "You guys can afford a vacation home? How?" There was a silence as I looked at my husband, begging him not to say anything. My husband stupidly decides to admit to our son that I came up with the idea to conceal how wealthy we were and to force our son to work for everything he has, even though we could have made his life easier by helping out with tuition, accommodation, and later his student loans. My son asked about our mortgage, to which my husband replied that we never had one. Our son then recounts all the times we denied him joy due to our inability to afford a vacation home and asked if it was all a lie. That was when I spoke for the first time and I said, "Yes, but I only came up with this idea so we could raise you as a humble person who knew the value of hard work." He drops his fork and tells me he never wants to see me again. He walks out the door and nearly slams it off its hinges. It's been 2 weeks now and he refuses to answer my calls. He does call his dad, but whenever I try to speak, he hangs up. I still don't think I'm in the wrong and don't think it's fair that our son still speaks to my husband but not me. Is it so wrong that we wanted him to be a hardworking person who knew the value of saving? So am I the idiot? You are the idiot. There's teaching how to be financially sensible and know the value of money, but that's not what you've done. You've made him suffer through life when he didn't need to. How many times would an extra $100 a month have stopped sleepless nights? It's one thing to not buy a 16-year-old a car. It's quite another to refuse to help your child with secondary education when it's well within your means. Don't be surprised if this breaks your relationship. Can you even imagine? Poor kid didn't qualify for financial aid because of his parents' income either. OP totally screwed him, and useless dad utterly failed him. Buying him trinkets behind OP's back while not standing up for something actually worthwhile. I'm not wealthy at all and had to save up considerably to pay for my daughter's college education. It's not spoiling them to ensure they have a bright future. It's an investment. Shame on you. My stepsister, Ren, has always been competitive with me. It was mainly fueled by her mom, who was always highly competitive between the families, but Ren kept it up. I'll admit I fed into it a bit when we were teenagers, but I grew out of it. She never did. She goes out of her way to try to one-up me, and she thinks everything I do is to one-up her, which isn't the case. That's the background to the main issue. Ren is getting married in November, and she's been planning the wedding for over a year. I got engaged a month ago. My fiance works an extremely high-pressure job, and because of the nature of his job, next year and the year after will be incredibly stressful. It's part of the reason he proposed when he did. I don't want to wait 2 years to get married, so I got in touch with the wedding planner who could work something out so that we can get married in August. It'll be an extremely small wedding, a reception dinner of about 20 people over one weekend. This is in contrast to the 150-person traditional wedding that Ren has planned. Ren is livid that we're planning to get married before her. She knows the reasons, but she insists that I've planned this to upstage her wedding. She's giving her dad no end of crap for putting money towards my wedding and helping me to humiliate her. Her words. She's also causing trouble among mutual friends she has with my fiance. This is not a huge deal because they don't want to get involved, but it was extremely embarrassing because she announced the date of our wedding before we did. My mom and her dad are now hinting that we should move the wedding. They keep saying maybe a winter wedding, I guess after Ren's, would be better, and that it would be nice if the family could attend both weddings with everyone on good terms. My stepbrothers also said that while he knows I didn't do it on purpose, because of past issues, Ren will find it extremely hard to get past. He also said I was naive for thinking that just because my wedding was different from hers, that she'd let it go. He may be right about that. I still want to keep the date of the wedding the same. I don't think doing it in the winter will appease Ren, and that we must wait over a year just because of her childish vendetta seems grossly unfair. But I don't like being the one to rock the boat, and I do sometimes feel a bit sorry for Ren. Maybe this isn't the time to take a stand. I really don't know if I'm in the wrong here. Not the idiot. Ren sounds spoiled, and your family's doing nothing to change that. As soon as she took issue with this, everybody should have told her that she needed to drop it. Sounds like she's used to throwing a tantrum until everyone else is exhausted enough to just give her what she wants, even if they know it's ridiculous. Is this how things usually go with her? Why do families always ask the person not causing the drama to change to keep the peace? Tell the stepsister to get over it to keep the peace. My God, if I were her fiance, I would seriously start doubting this relationship. Like, does she want to marry me? Or is she just trying to win this weird competition that no one cares about but her? I guess I can see how your parents are getting kind of worn down if they've been shutting down the nonsense for so long. It's unfortunate, but they need to remind themselves that they've been doing it for a reason. At the same time, you're both adults now. Have you tried talking to her one-on-one about this and explaining your side of things? It would really be nicer if you both could enjoy your respective weddings without any underlying resentment. Nah, OP, rest assured that Ren will find a way to throw a tantrum and accuse you of something even if you get married in 5 years. What if you have the first grandchild, the first house, the first dog or cat or whatever? Do what is right for you, as if she weren't there to complain, because she will complain more. So think about your future husband and stick to your plan. I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, 29, for 2 years, and we have an infant son. My friend Amy, 27 female, is normally a very fun friend, but recently, I've noticed that she gets annoyed when she asks me to do something, and I tell her I need to double check with my husband. I admittedly never really used to do this, but since I had a baby, it makes more sense to do because if my husband was already making plans, it's not like we can just do our own separate things anymore. We have a baby to think of and need to plan to find someone to babysit if we'll both be out. This past weekend, I went to the movies with Amy, and after it was over, she suggested that we go get dinner. This wasn't originally the plan, so I said, yes, sounds good. Let me call husband quickly. But before I could finish my sentence, she stomped off and shouted, forget it. I was literally so confused, and she had driven me there, so I had to then call my husband to come and get me, and he had to wake up our baby to do so. The next day, Amy texted me a bunch of long texts and basically said that it's creepy that I have to let my husband know my every move and that it's rude to her for me to do that because when we make plans together, my husband isn't invited, so he doesn't need to weigh in. I tried to tell her that I literally just needed to let him know where I was so he didn't worry, but she kept repeating herself and then also insinuated my husband was abusive. First off, I would put the hurt on him if he ever tried to abuse me. And second, I don't think that's abusive to ask your partner to let you know their whereabouts. Like, I'm a mother. I can't just disappear. He also would never tell me no, that I can't go somewhere. Like, he actively tells me to go out with friends, but if I don't come home when I say I will, then I should at least call to let him know so he doesn't think I'm dead in a ditch. I told Amy this, and she was not having it. Also, for context, Amy's only ever been in one exclusive relationship when we were in school. They broke up before graduation and never lived together. So maybe that's part of it, but she really seems to believe I'm being controlled and that I should just do my thing and not check in with my husband. My mom said from now on, I should just probably not tell her that I'm checking in with him, but still do it in text. But my husband said she's the disrespectful one and that I could do better than her as a friend. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're the mother of his child, and he's the father of yours. Who, if this person is a true friend of yours, would know your baby is less than a year old? Calling to double check isn't creepy, especially when there's a kid involved. This is a widely accepted practice in girl code. Checking in during an outing, safety, gouging interest levels, requesting a tactful way of backing out of something. So why can't she respect that there's a co-parenting code? Amy obviously doesn't get it, that in a mature and balanced relationship, the partners are considerate of one another. In my opinion, this courtesy should happen, even if there isn't a child to care for. What planet is Amy on? For starters, I can't believe she left without you. That she thinks that's an acceptable way to communicate her feelings just shows how immature she is. If anyone is controlling in this situation, it's her. She's tried to punish you to get you to conform. Yep, sounds like Amy's watched too many Lifetime movies This part brought me up short though. My mom said from now on, probably just don't tell her I'm checking in with him, but still do it in text. Wait, are you saying you still plan on going out to places with this person? After she drove off and left you at the theater, and your husband had to wake the baby up and drop both of them out to collect you? Amy's not a good friend. It's that simple. Don't waste any more of your precious free time with her. I, male 21, have been dating my girlfriend 20 for about 6 years now. She's amazing, hardworking, and incredibly smart. She's currently attending a community college and plans to transfer to a 4-year university next year. However, she struggles financially as her family isn't well off. I come from a more affluent background, and my parents have always been generous with me. I've got a great job and a good savings. Seeing her work so hard and stress about her finances, I wanted to help. So a few weeks ago, I offered to pay for her tuition when she transferred to the university. I thought it was a good idea. I love her, and I want to support her dreams. But when I made the offer, she got really upset. She accused me of thinking she was some charity case. She said that my offer really made her feel inadequate and embarrassed about her financial situation. She told me that she didn't want to feel indebted to anyone and that she wanted to achieve her goals on her own. I tried to explain that I wanted to help and that I didn't see her as a charity case at all. I just wanted to ease her burden and support her in any way I could. A few days ago, we got into a big fight. She was venting about her college dues, and I snapped and told her that if she wouldn't let me help by paying for it, then she shouldn't keep bringing it up around me. She got really mad and accused me of not being supportive. Since then, she hasn't been talking to me at all. She's been distant. So, am I the idiot for offering to pay for my girlfriend's college tuition? You are the idiot. Here's the thing. You're not wrong for offering to help her, and I'm sorry she perceived it differently than you intended. Once she declined, that should have been the end of it. Instead, you told her she was no longer allowed to talk with you about this issue, which is what makes you the idiot. Your partner wants to know she can talk with you about anything. I understand where you're coming from. You saw her complaints as problems to solve, so when she declined your solution, she lost the right to complain. But this is the completely wrong, and typically male, if I'm being honest, perspective. She's not looking for you to solve her problems. She's looking for you to be emotionally supportive. Instead, you were the opposite. From her perspective, you completely rejected her request for emotional support. What? You have a solution staring you in the face, and you won't take it. They've been dating for 6 years. This is what people do. People would be killing the guy if he hadn't offered. LOL. Also, that was an incredible offer on his part, and she was a huge jerk about it. She was in no way wrong for rejecting his offer, but she's very wrong with the way she did it. What's wrong with some version of, "Thank you for the generous offer, but I would rather pay for my own tuition"? And it doesn't sound like she's accomplishing anything if she's spending all of her time complaining.